Hey, folks. I want to do a quick walkthrough through a little tool that a colleague of mine brought to my attention that I really enjoy using and simplified a script. So I've only used it for one script so far, but it's a tool that I do want to look for more scenarios where I want to use it. So what is this tool called? It is called Gum. And what the heck is Gum? Well, it's a tool for glamorous shell scripts. Leverage the power of bubbles and lip gloss in your scripts and aliases without writing any Go code. Make your shell scripts pop. Now, that probably doesn't mean much to some random person who's reading this and says that sounds a little bit odd and funny. Well, it is odd and funny, and then I think that's one of the fun things about what is called the Charm Bracelet Toolkit. And so it mentions Go code because it is written in Go, but it's also a CLI tool. And I'm going to give you a little demo on how I use it for running Ansible against my Raspberry Pi. So let's quickly go to that, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like when I run it. And right now what you're seeing is the benefits of what Gum provides. So I am selecting the playbook. Now you don't need to know what Ansible is. The important thing to notice here is that like how this shell script is interactive like this in a relatively pretty way. So it's prompting me to select a playbook. So I'm going to select my main playbook. It's asking me which tag do I want to apply. Let's just do the system controls. What type of inventory? Again, you don't need to know Ansible in order to know what the heck is going on here. I'm going to use my inventory file, and now I have a prompt, a confirmation. Do I want to deploy my main playbook using the inventory file? Yes or no. I'm going to do, let's do yes, because it's not going to take too long. And now we can see this Ansible command that has been constructed for me. Like I said, you don't need to know what Ansible is, but I will show you how I've used Gum to make this interactive script. So I think first off, what I need to do is perhaps look at what it looked like before. And that is going to be, I need to find the commit. Use Gum enabled wrapper. Okay, so we'll look at this commit. Whoops. There we go. And git show. But I don't want to show you the script as it was when I did the transformation. I want to show you the script before I started using Gum. And hopefully that will sell you on why Gum is so cool. So this is what the script looked like before. In its entirety. Cool that it actually fits exactly on the screen. That was not planned. And how the script works, so when you saw me run ansible.sh, that's not how it worked before. Before, what you would have seen me do is run ansible apply, and you would see that would just assume this main.playbook. We would have an argument, which is an IP address, but if I leave it blank, it would do nothing. Now, you know, this isn't too different to just running ansible.sh, and this would run without any prompts. It would just start doing the thing. And when I'm running this command, I'm generally at my terminal. I'm not running this through Jenkins or Concourse or some external build system or a task job runner system. It's always interactive. And so I thought, given the fact that it's always interactive, let's see how Gum works in this kind of scenario. And before I show you the Gum implementation, which is just a funny sentence to say, let's look at this script. Now, I'm relatively comfortable with Bash, and I've probably written too much Bash. I'm probably not reaching to better tools and stubbornly write longer shell scripts than I ought to. But you can see here that I'm using a case statement, I'm using get_ops, which is not an intuitive thing to use. This thing here, I'm casing on the opt, which is this variable here. I'm looking for the I in this magic variable opt_arg, and doing a bunch of stuff. And then I'm invoking a command. So even though this is a relatively short shell script, it does contain some bashisms that probably not everyone's going to be familiar with unless you deal with bash on a day-to-day basis. Now, maybe this is not a great example because it's not the most complex script, and one could easily look some of these terms up on the interwebs. But let's compare this to the gummified shell script. Let's clear the screen so we can see that precisely. So one observation is that it's about half the length. That's, you don't want to necessarily judge a script by how many lines of code it is, because you can easily make one-liners in Perl that are very hard to understand, but do a lot of things. Love you, Perl. But let's take a look at how this works and how many bashisms do you necessarily need to understand how this works. So we do need to understand that we're running a subshell. So the $ parentheses means that we're going to run the find command, and we're going to pipe this to gum choose. So if I did something like foo bar gum choose, I'm just laughing because it says it's gum choose. Oh, interesting. So it looks like that's the only one thing. So if I probably delimit that by, there we go. Now we have a selector. Cool beans. And that's another thing. It's very easy to play with. And so we have another gum choose. So we either choose this IP address or other. Now this is just some logic in bash, and another gum input, which has the placeholder, which is sort of cool. So if I do gum input -- placeholder, awesome, we can see that we have this awesome placeholder text. Woo. Okay. And then we have this confirmation dialog, and if the user selects no, then we'll just exit the script and go on. Now, that's not necessarily like what the script looks like now. So if I do git show head, I've added a little bit more logic to it. I can select Ansible tags and did a little bit of adjustment to it. So now we can see that it does take a single page, but I haven't added any bashisms that might be hard to understand. So that's sort of my little demo of taking what was a command, I guess, an argument-based shell script. So you would construct a single command with all the things all at once. Foo bar baz. Not that's actually how it would be done, but like I would have to have all those things up front. And now I have this fun to run. No, I don't. I have this fun to run gum enabled script, which I really like. And the nice thing about gum is that it is implemented in Go, so that means it's just a single binary. Now, how I'm installing it, I'm using ASDF, and that's sort of out of scope for this. But if I do ASDF uninstall gum, ASDF rehash, nope, ASDF reshim. So if I do which gum, run gum, now it's failing. Gum install, whoops, not gum, I want to do ASDF install, and it's going to go get the version of gum that I need. Now, if you're curious about more about ASDF, I'm happy to do a video on that, but The focus here was on gum and how cool it is and how I'm looking forward to using it more. Yeah, looking forward to posting more videos. Cheers.